Hello everybody, Edgar Fernandez again from Pharmaceutical Safety Limited, located in Brantford, Ontario, Canada. We continue today with the process safety culture series of videos. Um, so today it's the standard system topic. So we're gonna see how important it is to follow standards, regulations, and codes uh, to have a very successful process safety culture in your company. So we, as a pharmaceutical safety, we have the mission of help companies to achieve safety compliance, to increase productivity, and creating a win-win core culture. So I have 23 years of experience in process safety and occupational safety areas in the pharmaceutical, manufacturing, oil and gas industries. Currently, I hold a professional engineer designation in Ontario and Alberta in Canada. I'm a Canadian certified registered safety professional. I'm a certified safety professional in the United States. I hold a bachelor degree in chemical engineering. The standards system help us to disseminate, evaluate, identify, develop, acquire, and provide access to codes, regulations, and laws. And why we want to do that? In my previous video, actually, I asked the first question that I asked was, how do we do things here? And one of the methodologies or one of the paths that we can find or we need to follow to answer that question is through the standard systems. The standards system is going to help us to see to evaluate how do we do things. It's going to help us to identify our gaps or our strengths, or it's going to help us to develop some systems, management systems, manufacturing processes, how we can transfer um, new processes from R&D to a commercial scales, especially on the chemical and pharmaceutical industries, but the same on the manufacturing industries as well. So how are we going to acquire new equipment, or how are we going to modify new equipment? What type of regulations, code and standards we need to comply to have a successful implementation and a successful process day by day. So the standard systems, there are some, this system address external and internal standards. Um, some of the global companies that dominate the market, they are not competing, they are dominating the market. That's something that you need to start thinking about it, or stop and thinking about what those companies that they dominate the market do. And they do one thing that I'm not for sure. They have their own internal standards system. They used the external standards, codes or regulation systems as a baseline, but they want to improve more because they want to dominate the market in any area. You can call it safety, process safety, finance, quality, etc. They want to dominate in each one of those areas that I just mentioned. So they create their own internal standard system. They are always also aware about national and international standards. Prime example, I'm located in Canada. Therefore, in the province of Ontario, they have a fire code. The same in other provinces, Alberta, British Columbia, Saskatchewan, New Brunswick, Quebec, etc. But also we need to be aware that there are some standards mentioned in those fire codes that they belong to the NFPA. So we need to be aware we have provincial, federal, and local codes. In this case, the fire code, provincial fire code, that is referring to an international standard that is the NFPA. Regardless, the NFPA belongs to the United States. Some countries they mention the NFPA, or even more, There are companies in other countries that they adopt NFPA. So they are aware of the national and international standards as well. You need to be aware also about local and federal regulations and laws. One of the federal regulations, for example, is in Canada is WEMIS, in the United States is HASCOM. So those they have changed recently, and now everybody needs to comply with the global harmonization system. That's a federal regulation. So you need to be aware what are the types of codes, regulations, and standards they apply to your company or the things that you do in your business. How we can do that? That's the questions that we need to answer ourselves. I want to be aware about these all regulations, standards, and laws. There are companies. There are companies outside that they have a very well developed protocols. I use one of those companies actually, and those protocols they are divided in different in 10 sections: process safety, occupational safety, industrial hygiene, toxicology, incident reporting and investigation, etc. And they have on each one of those topics they have uh, several questions that you need to answer yes or no, and you need to provide evidence that you are doing that. But also they refer to standards, codes, and regulations and laws. And each question, the reason why that question is there is because there is referred to an standard, regulation, and law. So these type of systems you can do actually conduct self audits by yourself, obviously self audits. So nobody's going to be involved from outside, and not any governmental agency. It's only this company and you. Most actually they use the some type of lawyers internationally, and they have these protocols as well. And then they send the lawyer to the company, and then with the safety team or the process safety or the engineering team, they do themselves the audit to see exactly where they are, exactly what's the status of the company regarding of standards compliance. So the standard systems they have three goals. I want to mention the first one. That I want to mention the first one. This minimize legal liability, and I have there is nothing wrong to focus your efforts on this, but the problem to have only one vision is you are not seeing the investment of these of having a standard systems. Most of everybody I'm seeing safety as or the standard system as a cost. Obviously, you need to pay a cost for you need to pay money to have access to those standards or to have access to those updates for sure. But safety is an investment. Process safety is an investment. And unfortunately, some of the companies they see it as a cost and as a lot of time consuming. Um, People who handle businesses, they understand investments. Investment is for a long time. It's a long time term. It's not a short time term. Investment is going to add value to your business or the things that you are doing. It's the same in safety, process safety. If you see process safety and investment, you're going to see the results. Not only in process safety, you're going to see the results in quality. You're going to see the results in cost, because there are some people that focus, especially they have a financial background. They're gonna see everything by the cost, and they say, no, this is too expensive. I don't want to do it. Also, there is some time consuming. Well, that is not investment. That is your focusing in short term. That is getting money. And some of the, no, I would say, people, companies, global companies that they dominate the market. Um, they don't have this type of thinking. Companies that they compete, they have this type of thinking, unfortunately. And that's the reason why they continue competing, and not dominating. Because they are not seeing this type of systems as an investment. They are seen as a cost and time consuming. That's the problem. And you're going to need to answer first what type of value you're going to add. What's the value you're going to add having these type of systems in your company, especially when you handle flammable, combustible powders, combustible liquids, or very toxic substances. No matter what type of industry, manufacturing, chemical, pharmaceutical industry, food industries as well. So these type of systems also they apply to PSM industries, process safety cover industries, such as the food industry. So there's something that people, especially who are in the top positions, need to keep in mind. So you want to invest, you need to dominate, you need to invest. You want to compete, okay, so you continue with your way of thinking of cost, but I'm sure I'm not gonna tell you that you're gonna lose. So you invest to see the results after. It's time consuming. I'm not going to lie you. Yes, it's time consuming, but everything is a time consuming. So you want to dominate the market, you need to invest, you need to put the effort. That's another problem. Sometimes we don't want to put the effort. Problems nowadays, we have everything fast. There is nothing that you can get fast. Everything is a process. Everything needs an effort. And it's something that many times we lost that focus when we start planning things in companies. That's the reason why I want to start with this goal. It's a good goal, yeah, minimize legal liabilities, but it's not the only thing. The second one is how you're going. Having a standard system or into the process safety culture is operates and maintains a safe facility. How you gonna know? You need to answer this. How do you gonna know that you are operating your facility and maintaining your facility in a safely manner? It's because you believe? Sorry, no. It's because you complied with the standards. So you have a good engineering practices, you have a good safety practices, right? Implemented, and at least you are following these standards, laws, and regulations from outside, and implement process safety practices, such as how you gonna control modifications. So you have an MOC program. How you gonna see that? How you gonna control that change? You have a pre-start safety reviews. Companies who dominate also they have a responsible care program. They know that it's a competitive advantage. They know that that is a way to conduct business properly. That is an investment. So they have these three goals combined in their systems. The activities that you need to perform or conduct in a standard system they are the following: implementation of the standards, obviously, and identify standards to comply. So, how you gonna implement and how you gonna identify it? Well, if you have a management of system with a pre-start safety review, that is not the same as the pre-start health and safety review required by the government of Ontario, the Minister of Labor in Ontario, Canada, is not the same. So these two systems that are combined, PSSR and MOC, that are linked, they're going to help you to identify and implement the standard system in your facility. You are controlling modifications, you are controlling integrations, you are controlling acquisition of equipment, etc., acquisition of software, right? So how is it going to implement in your facility? Also, you need to involve competent person. So I'll go to my I have a video on my YouTube channel and LinkedIn and my Facebook channel as well about competency, the definition of a competent person in the province of Ontario, Canada. Each province in Canada, they have a competent person definition. The same in the United States, in OSHA, they have the definition of competent person. So you comply with those three elements of competency, yeah, you have a competent person. If not, something you need to think about how you're gonna make your people competent. And it's nothing related with it's nothing related with certifications. So yeah, you have you competent your people who are managing or implementing PSM or do process hazard analysis. They have certifications. That's good, but it's one of the elements of competent person. It's not it's not in compliance with 3. That you need to review that video and let me know it's helping you or not. Ensure the effectiveness of the standard compliance. How you gonna make sure that the effectiveness? Well, you can make sure you can um, uh, create indicators such as okay, you introduce 3 modifications in this month. You need to make sure that the MOC, how many MOCs they were created, no matter what is a PSM or not. Global companies that they dominate the market, they say MOCs for everything. MOC, you're gonna create an MOC for modification in a process that is involving combustible and flammable liquids or combustible powders, but I want to create an MOCs to control my modifications in the packaging line that there is not related to PSM at all, but they want to control that. How they do it, they say, okay, this is a good philosophy from PSM. I'm going to implement it in a non-PSM process, but it's part of my occupational safety system as well. So I'm going to do that because it's a good idea to control that. I'm going to make sure that I'm compliant with the standards to avoid incidents, to reduce cost, and to do many things. There are too many things during the process. For example, you have a packaging line with interlocks, so you're gonna make sure that your people are going to perform their activities such as cleaning or removing debris, etc., from that packaging line by installing interlocks, and then you need to follow the machine guarding standards. You have a multi-robotic station, so okay, what the standards are going to be applicable, what is the activities that people they're going to be performing, conducting, and how we're going to make sure that the first they're not injuries, second they can do it, third I minimize stoppage, right? I minimize defects, I minimize waste. That's the reason why you need to have a standard system. So when I'm talking about waste, reducing waste, how people they're gonna conduct their activities, I'm talking about investment. If you are talking about reducing incidents, you are talking about compliance liability. And when you are developing a process or a project and you're only focusing compliance liability, that's you are competing, you are not dominating. But if you are aware about or you are worried about how people they're gonna perform their activities in a safely manner, in a way that they're gonna reduce waste, not only waste of material, waste of time, how you're gonna make their life easier, so that you are investing, so now you can compete, you can dominate. So in conclusion, sorry, the standards and codes and regulations are the base of compliance with process safety, the base of compliance, but also it's gonna be the start of investing to have a win-win culture in your company. Although the main goal is to reduce the compliance liability, as a company which wants to perform well needs to see the standard system as an investment that will add value to the people's performance, reductions of expense, as a competitive advantage in the specific market. So when everybody says we have a good safety system, we have a good safety program, there is another question, the third question that is asked in my previous video, the last week video. What what do you do when nobody's seeing? So when sometimes or many times when you ask your potential customers, in my case as a consultant, they say, well, we are performing safety very well. Well, I would say I believe you, right? I mean, I don't have the right to put in doubt the things that these people are telling me, but in yourself as a company, really you need to answer this. You are doing really well. How you gonna know that you have the standard system, and then you're gonna find you are doing well or not. You have the competent people or not. or you need to hire somebody else, or you need to the other things, or you need to train more people. You need to provide more training. That nowadays in some companies is a gap. I hope this video helped you on this on how we need to have standard systems in our companies. I'm gonna on the section comment I'm gonna put on my link to my webpage when you can find me, contact me, and willing to help you. Thank you very much, and we see I see you in the next video. Thank you very much. Have a good day.